Shalom, brothers and sisters. So, if you've been watching, a lot has been happening with chaos and protests and just a collapse of normal across the UK and the Western world, for that matter of fact. But at the moment, I'd say they're using the UK to try and destabilize the entire world right now. So let's dive right into a couple of those articles. Anti-immigration protests in the UK spread as Elon Musk warns civil war is inevitable. Now, we've seen civil war being threatened in South American countries, civil war threatened in America. Now Elon Musk is saying civil war for the United Kingdom. Do you see the theme that's been pushed here all over the place? Citizens are enraged with progressive officials who have promoted open borders, leading to an influx of immigrants. This has resulted in an increased crime and chaos and has adversely affected working class families by pushing down wages for low-skilled jobs. The Guardian quoted protesters on Saturday chanting, "Get them out." Too late, people. On Sunday, Policing and Crime Minister Diana Johnson told Sky News that unrest is viewed as criminal disorder and that people participating were thugs. She said some protesters would face imprisonment. On Saturday evening, Musk weighed in with civil war is inevitable. So she says it's criminal disorder and they're thugs and they'll be imprisoned. But when the migrants actually commit crimes and kill and murder and everything, they don't speak out as aggressively at all. Interesting. England on the brink. Starmer vows swift action against anti-immigration extremists. Government advisor backs COVID-style lockdowns to stop the riots. Remember, I told you lockdowns are coming back and they'll be using them for all sorts of the things like climate emergencies or anything. Now it's unrest as well. British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has vowed that police have his full support to take on extremists as anti-mass migration protests and riots break out across the United Kingdom following the mass stabbing at a children's dance party in Southport earlier in the week. So he gives full support to the police to crack down on people that are angry about a mass stabbing of children. But where was the full support in the police when these children were in danger from these migrants that the people are protesting? Interesting. Unrest erupted in dozens of towns and cities throughout the UK, in many cases in typical Labour Party strongholds in the north of England, in response to the slaying of 3 young girls and the stabbing of 8 others, including children, allegedly by a 17-year-old Rwandan heritage second-generation immigrant on Monday last week. So the migrant stabbing takes place. These kids, some of them killed, and now people are angry and rising up, and now Sir Keir Starmer wants to crack down on the protesters, or as these people say, the thugs. What's going to happen with the migrant situation that this has led to? And we can see this in Europe, we can see this in America, we can see this in all the first world countries. Then it affects markets. Apple and Nvidia led a sell-off in technology stocks on Monday as US recession fears and Berkshire Hathaway's decision to cut its stake on the iPhone maker punctured by a months-long rally in the sector. High-performing shares of Alphabet, Amazon, Meta platforms, Microsoft, and Tesla fell as much as 12.2% in pre-market trading. The losses in the Magnificent 7 stocks are set to wipe out nearly $1 trillion of the value of the companies. $1 trillion gone. That is how quick it can happen. Now, I want you to realize that's how quick it can happen for everyone. They can literally make these kind of changes at the drop of a hat. Stock markets around the world have continued to plunge amidst fears of the US's economy and on track for the recession. Japan suffered its worst sell-off since Black Monday in 1987. Experts at investment bank Goldman Sachs said they believed there was a staggering 25% chance of a recession in the US, up 10% from their previous estimate of 15. JP Morgan put the chances of a recession at 50%, which is closer to reality. US stock index futures tumbled on Monday, with those tied to the Nasdaq falling nearly 4%, but traders are ramping up bets that the Federal Reserve will announce an emergency interest rate cut in response to the global stock market crash to avoid a huge recession. The UK's unrest and chaos as well, fueling into this uncertainty that's going on. And what we're seeing is a perfect playing field ready for an absolute crash worldwide to take place when they deem it the right moment. And in that crash and wipe out, everybody can stop and say, you know what, we need a new system, we need to reset, we need to rethink. And that is where these things are heading. It's chaotic, it is hectic, it is planned, it is part of the program. Unfortunately, that is the fact.